nonsense of intellectuality, because the 110 came up to be the most incompetent setup of government ever to have happened to this country, disservice to our country. Today we have 56. If you look at even educational sector alone, Honorable Harun Edrusu didn't go to Yale. I'm not sure he's been to Oxford. But if you see the contributory restructuring of the Ministry of Education as far as our education is concerned, it should tell you that there was no foundation for this government to build on. But with speed, we are building a solid foundation for our educational sector. Sporting activities to be reintroduced. Double tracking have been abolished. School feeding is getting improved. And so these three things are clear quality incentives that will make sure that a student goes to school. By the time he's finished school, it's a better material. It's a material prepared to go to the university, and that is education. Education is not when we sloganeer free SHS, yet we're just passing individuals through school classrooms without substance, and they go to university and they cannot perform. Today, under national service, it's no longer a crime scene. 54,000 names every year, every month. It's not the story of national service. Today, national service personnel are going to Easter having allowances in their pocket. The nation has been fair to them, treated them fairly. In the past, it's a crime scene where 54,000 names, ghost names, was used to bleed our public purse. Again, national service is also laying a foundation as far as food security is concerned. They are heavily going into agric. And 100 days, they've started that. So you even ask yourself, is it that we have different kind of brains? The same people, it's the issue of attitude. All right? Today, first 100 days, you've heard of Planting for Food and Jobs, which was a scheme, a Ponzi scheme, used to dissipate public resources. The same Ghanaian is sitting at Ministry of Agric, and we have launched Feed Ghana program being outlined. President Akufo-Addo and his government, if you look at this country's geography, Ashanti region is where they get a chunk of their support from. What do? Farming, cocoa farmers. All right, my father used to labor, in Ashanti region to help the Ashantis, weed under their cocoa and all of that. So, who collapsed the cocoa sector in this country? President Akufo-Addo. It's collapsed, virtually collapsed.
No, I mean, they would disagree with that point.
No, they would disagree.
But I want to know the point you're making with
the point I'm making is that today, a solid foundation is being laid to feed this country through pottery, through other agric incentives. President Mahama have spoken about mechanization. So that promise he made to Ghanaians was re-echoed during the launch of this program to say, we are going to create agric service centers. So budget have been read, allocations will be made, importations will be made, and farmers in Ghana would have a foundation to boast of government incentives to boost the agric sector.
Indeed, I mean, there's no denying
100 days. Today, you are seeing crimes that you never saw in the last 8 years. You even not get the opportunity to hear of those crimes. So you have a combating security force that is fighting crime in this country. From political incentivized crimes, money laundering, cocaine activities, cyber security, all of these are being clamped on. You see? So these are things that you would not have heard of them under President Akufo-Addo. They were happening, but you wouldn't hear of them. But today, we are fighting these things. 100 days, we have an escalation of Boko conflict.
Right.
All right? Which is a negative as far as the country is not concerned. It's not about government. It's about a part of the country that security is, de-escalation in terms of their conflict. Perhaps this will be the last episode of the Boko conflict you will see, because it has become a major concern to every single Ghanaian.
Let's take each one after the other. You've spoken a while. What do you say to people who say that launching things naming policies, it's almost like the NDC government of the day is doing business as usual because people expected that you hit the road running.
Yeah, we are not elites. We are ordinary Ghanaians, and that's how President Mahama espoused himself. He doesn't espouse himself to be a better Ghanaian from the ordinary Ghanaian. And so he wants to do right by all Ghanaians as president. And that is what the government is going to do. Would you have expected that a government that is in power for just 3 months would have done more than it's doing now? Did we meet a foundation? Are you proud of any governmental foundation upon which this government founded itself?
Why didn't you?
Where is the foundation?
But you have the foundation of the Free Senior High School.
The foundation we have is deficit of leadership and credibility, criminal activities, and corruption. That is what we met, and that is what we want to clean up. And so within, 3 months, all one would have expected was vetting of CVs. In the past, under President Mills, you were in this country. It took us 6 months before we even sacked appointees of the previous government. Under President Mahama, in the past, when he succeeded President Mills, even though we were in court at the time, I think 2012, it took us about 8 months to a year to set up government properly to start. President Akufo-Addo, when he won, it took him about 8 months to properly set up his government. When he won for the second time, he didn't do reshuffle. The same cabal he used for his first 4 years were the same group of people he used for his subsequent...
Well, he cut it down a little bit also.
No, but make the point. Sacking people is not the same as forming government. So today, within 3 months, you should be happy because of the exigencies and the need of this country. Within 3 months, a government is 80% formed. So would one expect that we just read a budget, okay? The economy is crashed, totally crashed. The finance minister is required to, kick in fiscal policies and measures to lay a foundation on which the government will move. So even though budget have been read and Parliament have approved the budget, real funding hasn't gone to ministries and agencies. Number two, boards have not been, constituted yet.
But what's the holdback? Why can't the president appoint?
No, but I'm just saying that formation of government takes processes. And I have told you at least 3 past governments, the periods within which they formed government. And this President Mahama have used 3 months to shrink the periods to just 3 months, and we are going to the 4th month, and already you can see the positives of the government. I think that we should be happy without having the conversation to say, I know that we have a problem, a challenge of trust when it comes to launching and all the things that
so what you're telling the Ghanaian people is that because of the state of the country that the NDC inherited, that is why you're having to rebuild foundations for certain things. We are
laying a foundation, but with speed as compared to the past.
Yeah, but that's the point I'm making.
Where we have reached now, where we are now, you couldn't have gone past where we are.
What I'm saying is that the Ghanaian would question why, having been in a position for 8 years, having questioned and criticized the government during that period, and even proposed alternatives to the problems and how the government of the day was running it. When you get the opportunity to be in office, it's not now that you are going to lay foundation.
Yes, when you have good dreams, the execution of your dreams will have to be on the taxpayers' burden or responsibility. It means that there are some regulatory measures that you must respect to put in place. Without those measures in place, you cannot just go and say, oh, I want to do Nkuko Nkiti. I am in power, so begin to do, It must come with some implementation structures. And without same, you cannot execute. But the speed at which we have come this far that today the country already have full complement of 56 ministers and deputy ministers. The country has full complement, almost CEOs who are already doing, investigation at their various agencies. They are doing stock taking and all sort of things that have occurred in the past, just so we come up to speed with what have happened in the previous government. Then we start all other things. You should be happy that we are where we are now. But you see, the government that will not perform, you will see it out of its formation. We have had the past where the president stood in front of the cameras and told you, oh, Ken Oforiatta, he is schooled in Yale. He is this, he is intelligent. And when we questioned why he made his brother a finance, he says, oh, your family people were not educated. His family, and we got this results we have. President Mahama chooses a fine gentleman, young man from Central Region. He comes and says, everybody must respect fiscal discipline. We are going through that exercise so that by the time government kickstarts its policies, you will be proud and you will be happy.
So how long would it take for the NDC to finish building the foundations?
I'm just saying that the first 100 days promise President Mahama made, we have fulfilled almost all of them.
No, we'll look at each of them.
First 100. So a government that fulfills its first 100 days promise is a government you should trust to fulfill 4 years mandate.
No, I understand.
Yes.
But I'm going by your own logic here.
Yeah.
That you have inherited a broken country or a broken economy, you're laying foundations.
Not broken. The country is finished. President Akufo-Addo and his appointees have finished this country.
So what I'm asking now is, how long would it take you to unfinish the country
do you think there's a foundation? Do you think take the sectors of the economy? Do you think there's any foundation upon which a new government is founded? Take the energy sector. When President Akufo-Addo was coming into power, Car Power and America and all of this were in place to deal with our energy crisis. What did he leave President Mahama?
But when we also take the education, you had a free high school
as far as energy is concerned.
When we take health, we have the... no, hang on. You asked the question. I'm also indicating a few things.
Yes.
That when you take education, you have the free senior high school
quality
program.
Is not there. Quality is not there.
Which is why you're building upon it. You asked me a question and I'm answering.
Yes.
Right? And then you also, even under the health sector, and in the NHIA, we know that the outgoing government began a program for free dialysis for people who needed
they
it.
Were not paying
you are building upon it.
They were not paying hospitals. They were not paying claims. They collapsed the health insurance. But even with energy, okay, there was no foundation. Here we come, we are trying to build. Agric sector, they did planted for food and jobs. The end effect of agric planting for food and jobs is that we owe ECOWAS. We've gone to borrow maize and rice. Under President Akufo-Addo,
we owe ECOWAS as a country?
Yes, President Akufo-Addo's government went to borrow maize and rice from ECOWAS and never returned same. That is the physical end product of planting for food and jobs, apart from the corruption bit of it.
But these are things you're also doing.
Health insurance today, they just announced that they've paid all arrears.
Okay.
All right? So didn't we have that money under President Akufo-Addo? Why were the hospitals having to be stifled with cash when they have rendered services? The same people, same human beings, some of them went to Oxford and Yale. They were the ones at National Health Insurance. But yet, the scheme collapsed. Today, you are seeing some positive, energy that is coming from National Health Insurance. So there was no foundation. Okay? This country, up until December 7th, was a collapsed country, built cosmically. There was nothing beneath it. And that is the risk at which all of us were moving. Today, at least, you haven't heard of a scandal in the last 3 months. All they did was to cook documents into your face because we like to read.
No, hang on, let's take it one step at a time, right? So, again, I'm still on the question that if the NDC administration is still building foundations because of what you inherited, how long would it take for those foundations to be stable enough for the Ghanaian people to start to feel the impact of a new government, a new solution in their pockets?
Are you not feeling an impact already?
Are you?
Were you not worried that the daily scandals under President Akufo-Addo is not the same as we see today. The cocaine and things that have been arrested, fake gold, fake dollars. Were you hearing about it? Are you not worried that you are seeing it now, that a system is fighting all of these crimes? Are you not worried?
No, but if that's the difference we are measuring, then someone will also bring up the theft of ECG cables at the port. Someone will also bring up Intim Fojo's, Reverend Intim Fojo's accusations
it's not the
that
same. The theft,
some flights had come in.
I don't think that you want us to go into the theft of ECG. We all know what the theft is about. It's irresponsible leadership backed by...
No.
Backed by people who have a mindset to steal. The ECG thing didn't occur under this government. The ECG thing you are seeing is being fought at. It's being fought at and has been exposed as one thing that have occurred at ECG under President Akufo-Addo, deliberately orchestrated, monitored, and executed to ensure that individuals benefit into their pockets.
I think the minister has been clear on that.
Yes, so we are clear. So you are clear about that.
Clear on that. But I'm only saying that if we'll get there.
Yes.
I'm only saying that if the measurement of impact is by how many scandals we have had, then even you, within your 3 months, we've had some scandals.
For every
of course, with the mindset that the government has had the opportunity to dispel those mindsets or to dispel those allegations.
That's not what I'm saying.
Or scandals.
I'm saying that.
But the true measurement of impact of the new administration will be whether or not my purchasing power has changed. Has yours changed?
But, like, for example, would you expect that a 3-month government would have changed every problem in every Ghanaian? No. What you would expect to see is a government led by a president who is not corrupt, a president who loves the country. Today, business people are not having to be running around. Kanofurata have taken their business. The execution of the Ajapadia thing is not taking their business to favor a small group of family and friends. Business people are not worried about that now. What business people are more interested in now is for opportunities for them to do business, irrespective of your political party affiliation. That is a leadership that is assuring. A leadership that believes that, okay, quality. Go to... Now, you've been following Harun Edrisu. He is a Tamale grown local. Okay? He hasn't been to Yale. Look at the initiatives at the Ministry of Education. And you ask yourself, did he come from heaven? Were there no human beings who were at the Ministry of Education who foresaw the implementation of the free SHS, under which we have scandals of ghost names, teachers who are taking money from the state, but you can't find the schools they teach, okay? The scandals as far as feeding the students are concerned, all of this one was happening. ICT, they said free internet in secondary schools. Individuals were being paid, but yet there was no single internet in any secondary school. But today, you see Harun Edrisu reviewing all of these things for the betterment of free SHS, if it is that, and our educational system in general. And you think that this is not a government that is assuring? And I just told you under Ministry of Agric, you saw and experienced 8 years of a scam called Planting for Food and Jobs, a Ponzi scheme. Today you have seen, within 3 months, a launch of Feed Ghana. By 3 months, 90 days or 100 days, government have launched this. And that government is not assuring. You have a government that have come to meet, structured, incentivized crimes. And the government is fighting and exposing these crimes. And you think it's not reassuring? Today, you, a journalist, can criticize a government and you can go and sleep freely without having to be worried that some person is coming to kill you, and you are thinking that under that president is not assuring, when in the last 100 days under President Akufo-Addo, you can't go and talk about him without having to be worried about who is coming after you. Under President Akufo-Addo, business people, ordinary Ghanaians doing their business, cannot be guaranteed that their proposals will give them business because somebody is busy trying to empower his clan. Today, President Mahama says, I'm for all Ghanaians. And you think that is not assuring in 100 days. I am very persuaded, and I know, and we are going to help President Mahama to succeed. Each time a government misbehaves, Our laws are such that the president goes to sit in the house and usually is free. Okay? But thousands and millions of the ordinary Ghanaian are displaced. So we should not be in the game of competing how many scandals have come out and how many things have we heard, but the quality of it. How reassuring are these policies, the feasibility of it. MPP under President Akufo-Addo. And in the first 100 days, we are confronted head-on with Galamsey crisis as a government. They issued over 2,000 mining leases to people to mine both in the forest reserve, but they failed to supervise.
Before they left office?
Yes, they failed to supervise whether or not mining was done well, reclamation was being done, water bodies were destroyed, forest reserves were destroyed, without any policy to what happened to President Akufo-Addo's policy of Green Ghana? We will come there one day and you will see the money they took for planting trees. Now, here we are today. When we started in 90 or 100 days fighting illegal mining, soldiers have been unleashed into the forest to protect our forest. MPP then comes to say, oh, they are burning excavators.
Mustafa, you're moving real fast. So
they are burning excavators.
We'll talk about some of the issues that face this country before you came into office, what you plan to do with it, and what you have been able to do with it so far. But when we come back, I will ask you when assurances will move into action, because from all that you have told me, nothing is disrupting. We seem to be continuing the status quo.
No,
from a different point of view.
I disagree with that.
From a different point of view.
Yes.
And I'll explain what the point of view is when we come back. Don't go away.
Thank you.
These holidays, you don't need to go far to find the best entertainment.
Exactly.
All you need to do is stay connected to DSTV.
Yes, please.
Whether you're at home or on the move, make it a holiday to remember.
Lewis Hamilton leads on Ferrari debut.
Because these holidays, it's your moment to enjoy the best entertainment.
Great.
Thank you guys for joining us.
So get and stay connected to DSTV to enjoy every moment.
Oh yes, Tamale, it's going down. This Easter Monday, 21st of April 2025. Inside King David poolside. Kwame Yuji and Fancy got them live. 2 times, 1 night, 1 stage. You already know it's gonna be fireworks. Tickets selling at 100 cities for couples and 70 cities for single. For table reservation, please call 0248 904050. Step into the full experience. Dine at King David Restaurant, serving mouth-watering local and continental dishes. Stay in comfort at King David Guest Hall and vibe at the KD's Pop and Night, where the nightlife never sleeps. Come and enjoy top-tier services all in one secure, stylish location.
You welcome people to church star Kwame Eugene, Africa #1. So on the 21st of April, me inside King David poolside. The rockstar Kwame just comes to have some rockstar family with my brother Fancy Gadam. Yes, so don't stay home that day on the 21st of April. King David poolside. The rockstar Kwame just coming. Meet me there. Let's have some rockstar fun. We didn't come here to play. Africa still #1. Ladies and gentlemen, cheese madness.
Hello, all ladies out there. CJ Multimedia presents Miss Aquaba Season 4, a culture and tourism beauty pageant show. Auditions for Miss Aquaba Season 4 will take place on Friday 25th and Saturday 26th April 2025 to select ladies who will participate in the 13-week reality show. Venue, CJ TV Studios, La Paz, Accra. Time, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. You can pick up a registration form now at CJ Multimedia, La Paz, Accra. Don't get the ultimate winner of Miss Aquaba Season 4 drives home a car and also receives a cash prize of 10,000
Welcome back. It's still hot issues here on TV3. With me in the studio is Deputy Director of Operations at the Presidency, Mustafa Bandi. Mustafa, again, thank you so much for your time. Let's look at some of the issues I identified earlier. On the subject of Galamsey. Yes, you have launched some efforts.
Yes, not some efforts, serious efforts towards it. Don't forget that in this Galamsey industry, look, the MPP people are involved. My party people, the NDC, are involved. Journalists, some of your people are involved.
Really?
Some soldiers are involved. Police officers within the mining areas incentivize these things. And so it's a very complex industry that you will require an independent, well-calculated, forceful strategy that will preserve all the resources that are being destroyed. Water, forest, and all of that. Now, we have said that whether you are NDC or you are MPP, you should mine responsibly, all right? Do not mine in the forest reserve. Do not mine in the water bodies, but you can mine, as used to be the case, both large scale and small scale, obeying the rules of Environmental Protection Agency. Now, when you do that, government will support you to do your work. And gold board have been structured to regulate the processes of gold.
So
that's one foundation.
How would you say your serious efforts are going?
That's within 3 months. So let me tell you. Now, the soldiers are going in there to free our forests, which may be inhabiting terrorists, may be inhabiting bad people and all of that. They are going to free that forest to make sure that Ghanaians are happy and our life is protected. MPP people are complaining. Oh, NDC people, why are they burning machines? Why are they doing this? Look, we are not just going to end there. There will be a follow-up, and the Minister of Interior, Honorable Mutaka Mubarak, announced very visibly that foreigners who engage in these crimes, who President Akufo-Addo and his appointees have used to destroy forest reserves on a large scale, if you are caught mining illegally, you will be, taken out of the country, deported. We are also going to make sure that if it was you, Keminni, who mined in this spot and left the holes there, you'll be arrested and given a period of time to go and reclaim, or you go to jail.
Right.
That is coming. That is a bold solution to something that is confronting all of us. Without necessarily looking at political colors.
As of today,
yes,
what impact have those efforts had on our water bodies, on our environment, in dealing with illegal mining?
3 months. These things, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources is not 2 months in office, so to speak. He is not yet 2 months in office. But these are stakeholder engagements are ongoing, action is ongoing, and all of that. Education, public engagement is also ongoing with civil society, taking stock of brainstorming and how all of us can get involved to deal with this, as compared to a government that issued over 2,000 licenses.
So it's too soon to measure impact.
Yes, and failed to supervise and ensure responsible mining. We are talking about a 3 months old government. On the other side, we are talking about a government that allowed people to mine in the forest reserves without ensuring that they reclaim and reforestate.
No, the same thing is happening
under the
administration.
No, I'm just saying that it's happened.
And it's still happening.
It's continuing, but you are seeing a measure to combat.
No, we are not seeing any measure, because the promise was that you will ban illegal annual mining activities in forest reserves.
Yes.
And you haven't achieved that. Parliament hasn't passed.
Let me explain this to you. In the past, it was free for all. MPP people went to Chinese businessmen, borrowed money, all right, to do their campaign. Allow them to come and mine in our forest reserves. That is not a problem. The problem is that when you mine in a forest, after mining, you reclaim and plant trees. Go and check. They didn't do all of that. It was the role of appointees of President Akufo-Addo, i.e., Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, 2, Environmental Protection Agency, and the Minerals Commission to ensure responsible mining. 8 years, we've seen these devastating destruction that have been caused. 3 months in office, we are already taking some measures. I'm not saying that we are fully. Look, government haven't even started functioning. And as we speak to you, no government institution, only few have boards to function. So in other words, it's too early to even make a statement that this government is not doing anything, because we are not even a government yet. We are in power. We are forming a government. Statutory bodies have not been formed. How would you say that the government is not performing? And I've told you.
I mean,
and I've told you in the last few days.
I don't think that's what
even
we are saying.
In our young government, in the formative stage of this government, you are seeing some fights against illegal mining, which doesn't target political individuals or whether you are party A or party B. It targets the crime. The fact is that you must mine responsibly. NDC government is not against small-scale mining. NDC government will never ban small-scale mining. But we are saying, do it responsibly. Do not mine in our forest reserves, destroy it and go away, as it used to be in the past.
Will the administration be able to ban illegal and new mining activities in the forest reserves before the 120
It has been banned already. In the last 8 years, illegal mining was banned, but it kept happening. And so we are here again. Apart from banning, you must see government
but in
action.
reference to the amendment of the law, that's what I'm asking.
So you are talking about why the law is being amended to 10% room to mine in the forest reserves. Throughout the world, it's not a crime to mine in a forest reserve. But I'm just saying that after mining, you must give life back to the forest again. So you take out the gold, you must re-afforestate, okay? Which was not happening.
So have you stopped it at this time?
President Mahama says that under my administration, through the Minister of Natural Resources, mining in the forest reserve is not free for all. I am limiting it to only 10%, small strategic mining into the forest reserve areas. But 90%, you can't do it. Let's save 90% of our forest reserve. The proportion of saving of forest reserve is quite better than the 100% President Akufo-Addo gave out for free. And it wasn't Ghanaians mining. It was Chinese. They brought Chinese people to come and mine without reclaiming.
Would you consider that point in your social contract achieved at this time?
So far, I think that we could not have done more than we have done now.
Okay.
You've also heard of the Minister of Interior announcing that the IGP should change all the police personnel.
Yes.
It is not targeted at a particular police officer, but we are just saying that you've been there for a long time. Come out so that fresh people who do not have familiarity with persons who are involved in illegal mining can help implement. Because don't forget that the Minister for Lands cannot arrest somebody doing illegal mining. I cannot arrest. You have to still rely on the police and the military to enforce the law. So if the enforcement agencies are being compromised, then you and I, whatever we are doing in Accra, will not have any results. So you are seeing a solid foundation, remarkably to say that let's clean the enforcement individuals, the people who will enforce this law or these action on the ground, so that government can then come in and enforce its full measure. Courts are being, the Attorney General is looking at setting up a fast-track court purposefully made for illegal mining activities. When you are arrested in Prestia doing illegal mining activity, you will be brought straight to that court and tried. And if you're found to have done something, you are convicted.
I see. Mustafa, so just a few more things on the fight against Galamsey. Considering in the lead up to the 2024 elections, there were widespread call for a declaration of a state of emergency, some of which came from members of your party. When you came into office, over the 100 days that you spent so far, why was it so difficult to declare a state of emergency?
State of emergency at where?
A state of emergency as far as the mining areas are concerned.
No, you can't declare a state of emergency because the various installations and processes available to combat this are very viable. All we need is the will, the collaboration to get it going. When you declare a state of emergency, it's not, people talk as if they understand what exactly the implication of state of emergency. It's not done like that. You go and impose a state of emergency and you are expecting foreigners to come to your country and come and invest.
Then why were we calling on the previous government?
I never called on President Akufo-Addo.
But members of your party did.
I don't know who called for it. Maybe the person's understanding of state of emergency. Look, what you are seeing is a calculated, deliberate policy direction of the government to deal with this canker without having to target political individuals. All right? I would be expecting in the coming days MPP to commit to the government their collaboration for all of us to deal with this thing head on, so that it is not seen as a witch hunt or seen as trying to deprive one party's people from mining. Like I said, all of us are guilty of illegal mining. All of us.
I see.
From MPP, NDC, PPP, lawyers, judges, pastors, prophets, everybody. Everybody is involved. We have to then, and government is showing the lead. It is not the same as 8 years.
I see.
No,
we get that point.
So you agree that 8 years it was a priority of government
8 years is
to
a
promote illegal mining?
a longer period.
No, to promote illegal mining. You agree with me?
No, I do not agree. I do not agree with you.
Well.
And the reason I do not agree with you, just to clarify for our viewers, is because we know on record from the CSIR that indeed during the first administration of President Akufo-Addo, there were changes in the way the environment reacted to operations to combat illegal mining.
Yes.
Post the 2016 election going into the second term, that is when we saw things decline. So if you say the entire 8 years,
how did it decline? What data are you referring to?
I'm referring to data from the CSIR.
That they have shown that post-December 7th.
No, that in the lead up to the 2020 elections, and after that, we saw a decline.
But during the baseline data you are referring to would definitely make reference to 2020 to 2024 and above. So I'm saying that post-December 7th, what has been the data?
No, we haven't seen data.
So we cannot be held responsible for what was done for 4 years.
Nobody is holding you responsible.
But I have just referenced data.
No, hang on. Let me clarify. I'm saying that it is inaccurate for you to say that the entire 8 years, the administration that left did nothing about illegal mining. They did something. They benefited from it.
They benefited from it. They issued 2,000 mining leases without having to supervise to ensure that the people were mining well. They gave free for all mining access to forest reserve without also following up to ensure that the miners were reclaiming and replanting trees. And you made reference to a CSR report of 2020. And I'm saying, you said the lead up to 2020 and 2024. And I'm saying that President Mahama can only be held accountable to what happened after December 7th.
I want us to look at other issues. We stayed.
So you agree with me that we
stayed a very long time on illegal mining, but just a few things. Blue Water Initiative, they started working.
Which is Blue Water Initiative?
The people supposed to protect the water bodies and make sure it's returned.
They are currently under some.
Mustafa, how do you know what Blue Water Initiative is?
No, there are a lot. They call water guards.
Yes,
they are currently under some other training.
Okay.
Hoping that after the radical move to clean the forest and water bodies are done, their role is actually to move with the Navy to augment their strength. Cite that, somebody is still mining on a water body, then reinforcement will be done. So when I heard the MPP people ignorantly saying you are going to put an armed guard as against armed illegal miners, I found that to be ignorant.
Very well. Well, another thing. Your social contracts, point 13, says that you will launch inquiries and forensic audits, and one of those things you look at are the missing excavators and tricycles.
Yes.
Where are we with that?
Was it part of the 100 days promise?
Yes, it's number 13 on the 120-day promises on looking into issues of public interest.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I saw that, but I think that we'll look at it.
So you haven't done anything yet?
I do know that some works are ongoing at the ministry level, and that's why I made mention of the fact that government of President Mahama have not really is not really functioning,
right?
So to speak.
You're still putting yourself together.
All the ministers are doing some form of investigation or the other. There are some you hear of it. Some have even advanced without you hearing of it. I'm not too sure whether my mind captures everything that have taken place already, but I do know that there have been some investigation ongoing into recruitments and other issues. Energy sector is doing some investigation. Ministry of Defense is doing some investigation. A lot of investigations are simultaneously ongoing.
Okay, so just to go over some of the things here, have you looked into the collapse of the indigenous banks and financial institutions and the cost involved in cleaning up?
I think we all know that that was another, deliberately concocted, well-established scheme fueled by tribalistic sentiments of Akufo-Addo against indigenous bank owners, orchestrated by Ken Ofori-Atta. That I know the finance minister, who have just started work, after budget and all of that. So as soon as he was appointed, they started with the economic dialogue as a pillar. They finished that. Budget was prepared. We just finished budget. Parliament just went on recess. World Bank is in Ghana. He's meeting them and all of that. So I'm sure that concurrently with the Bank of Ghana itself, which are just the governor. So just tell me. I'm just saying that the governor is about 1 month old in office. All right. So all those things.
Right. So just when I mentioned the issue, just tell me yes or no whether you've looked into it. Illegal printing of money.
Bank of Ghana.
Is it a yes or is it a no?
Some investigations are on, but I'm not too sure.
National Cathedral scandal.
You are aware that the Minister of Local Government is consulting with religious leaders
it's a
again
yes.
And look, it's a yes.
Inflated single source contracts.
All agencies are doing investigations.
COVID-19 expenditure scandal.
They are doing it. BNI is doing it.
PDS.
So the subsidiary crime of PDS is the containers.
Okay.
So these containers will lead us into PDS, where Gabi, Keligajekbu, and all of them would have to be drawn in. Now, the smaller version of it is the missing of the containers, which involved Dubik, Apenyo Markins, and Napu, and then all the officials at ECG. So after this is done, then we'll now look at what led to the breakdown of management at ECG. It's PDS, then those ones can come in. So it's ongoing. Ejapa, I'm not too sure, but I may not know if it has started.
So that's a no. So SML,
this one.
I think that's a yes, because OSP had initiated. Ambulance spare parts deal.
It's the Minister of Health is
looking into that.
Oral, no, it's part of these things that Oral had done some work on. And okay, so Oral have done some extensive work.
Yeah.
That file has been given to the Minister for Attorney General, who is reviewing and doing all processes on it.
13th African Games.
Part of Oral report.
Skytrain, Poalugu, Masset, distribution.
The board chairman was recently arrested. So
Sputnik V.
Yes.
Boss scandal.
Yes.
All those are being looked into already. I see. We can't wait to hear a little bit.
I can't wait for us to start arresting them, though. I cannot wait. I want to see them being arrested. I want to see every one of President Akufo-Addo's appointees who have stolen from this country being arrested, and they will be arrested. In fact, 20% of Ghanaians who voted for us, who are not NDC, who are not, the 20% of the 47, what percentage did we get again?
In terms of what percentage?
Our total votes, 50-something%.
Yeah, about 58%.
A chunk of the people who voted for us are waiting for us to imprison or arrest persons who have stolen from this country. Okay, so
and do you think you're living up to that expectation?
When the government fully establishes, you will see action in this town. You will see real action when government fully establishes. Right now, when you arrest them, you go to CID department, they have packed the place with MPP people. You go to all over the place, NIB, it hasn't been properly, we are dealing with all of these other crimes jointly with national security. So by the time we fully kick off, everybody will be brought. So that objective is a national one. It's not President Mahama's objective. It's a national interest, including the grassroots of MPP. Because all the information we have had came from the MPP grassroots.
I see.
Who tell us that this minister has stolen this minister has put this property in his girlfriend's name.
You're getting the information
This minister has stolen a car and parked it here. This minister have bought this property, but it's in the name of this person. All from MPP grassroots members. So this objective, this drive, it's not just a thing of NDC. It's not a thing of myself sitting here. It's the whole country believing that there is evidence to suggest that there's some stealing have gone on, and persons who have seemed to have been engaged in this should be brought to book.
So in terms of your 120-day social contract, we're still counting down to that 120 days. How many of the 26 promises do you think that you have achieved?
I will sum it to say that I'm very proud that I'm serving under President Mahama. And I mean, if you know my views, I'm not saying this because I'm NDC or I'm an appointee of government. What is right is right. This country have actually been relieved of lychee individuals who, you know, like vultures, feed on the carcass of our country and they dissipate national resources. I think the country have been freed from that pressure. I also see a solid foundation that is being laid. I'm not saying that the problem of the ordinary Ghanaian post-December have been resolved. No.
I mean, Mustafa, I've heard that. But what I'm asking is very much direct. You gave us 26 promises. How many of those promises do you think you have?
Almost all of it have been achieved.
Almost all?
Almost
but
all
the NPP will say that...
Do you still, you know, you want to discuss what Apenyomakin and the people are doing in Parliament?
No, but the opposition...
What is opposition?
The opposition
No,
is
we
part
don't have
of the
opposition.
governance.
We have businessmen in Parliament.
Oh, I see.
Made up of Apenyomakins and his people. They are not doing that in the interest of the ordinary MPP person or Ghanaian. They are doing that to grow their own political future and to make money. They don't have the same people were in government when the MPP grassroots was left to rot. The same people watched their government do what they did. The noise you see in Parliament is just to intimidate and make money. It is never a national. So I don't want to even go there discussing.
So perhaps the mention of MPP is what is, you know.
But they are using MPP.
It's what is sparking this response. So I'll put the MPP away and say that it will be incorrect to say that you have achieved almost all of the 26 promises.
It is even impossible to say you have achieved everything.
But my question is,
there are various stages of accomplishment.
My question is, since we are nearing that 120-day deadline, do you think that by the time we reach there, you would have cleared all these 26 promises?
By the time we reach there, you will not have been making 1 million if you were making 10,000. But at least your 10,000 will be worthy. There will be hope for you. You will be sure that nobody is stealing your tax.
What does that mean?
That is what you should see in the
But you see, this social contract was something that was really important to the president.
There must be impact.
And then between the Ghanaian people and the new administration, if this contract is not met, then you have already broken down the trust even further.
That's correct.
Yes. So my question is, do you think that with what is left of the 120-day social contract, by the time we clock 120 days, you would have achieved?
You see, it's not just a conversation of, have you started this? Have you achieved this? No, it's the way it is being implemented to make sure that the impact, the society feels it. Do you know that oil prices have been dropping in the last few weeks, few months? Do you know that?
I see.
So check. It's because in the last 8 years, there was normalization of price hiking. So all you know is fuel price going up. So you are not even sure. You don't even know that fuel price have come down. So the social contract is supposed to give some hope, okay, some hope of the new leadership to the ordinary Ghanaian that, look, we will do whatever we say we will do. We are 90 days, you say. We have some more days or 30 days to go. By that 30
no,
days,
you have about some 16 days
yes,
to
by
go.
that 16 days, you would see, or you should come back to this conversation that, oh, okay, so all the things have round up. And when President Mahama is giving account to the nation, I'm sure that he will do a presentation to the nation of his first 100 days.
Indeed.
In that conversation, you will see that, oh, okay, so there are things that have happened that I don't even know. And this is the impact. We have spoken about education. We have spoken about even agric policies that have so far been implemented. You are seeing a lot of investigations ongoing. People have been invited. But just that because it involves political class, it's not all of these things that will come to the public light. When the president takes the seat to account for his first 100 days, the impact of the promise of the social contract would have been so enormous, would have been so positive that you have no choice than to believe that you made the right choice to have voted for the NDC.
I see. Just a few things that are not associated with the 120-day contract, but did happen over the period under review. One would be accusations that have come up against the government from the minority in Parliament regarding suspicious sightings of some private flights in this country. How well do you think that the administration handled that matter?
You see, the fact that you've changed a government doesn't mean criminals will cease to exist. But what systems do you have to combat crime? When you go to Kotoka International Airport, 2 aircrafts are parked there under President Akufo-Addo, suspected to have been carrying cocaine. Did you hear about it? They shielded it. They covered it up from the ordinary Ghanaian. When Ntim Forjo made mention of these things, that there was a suspicion, he has the right to do that, to speak to information that he have heard. Immediately, President Mahama says, no, let's investigate. So let's collaborate with our brother to ensure that we go after this very well. Because it affects the nation. It's about the reputation of the nation. Even before that is done, the man became a comedian, jumping from one media house to the other. Again, because he wants to be a running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he must set some platform of mischief.
How do you know that?
So you don't know, I'm a politician. In Team Forjo, you see, he has taken the shine of Apenyo Markins recently, who is the headmaster. Because in Team Forjo wants to be a running mate, he must drive on some mischief. And as we speak, the sad reality is that the reputation of this country has been injured as far as drugs is concerned, because a certain irresponsible statement was made, unverified, uninvestigated. We ran the commentary of it. And now internationally, when you are going to America today, you will go through the line and then get invited, and you ask, oh, because one in Team Forjo says your country is a transit point for cocaine, so let's further check you and ensure that you didn't put something in your breast.
But did the government handle itself well in the face of
Did the government handle itself well?
Yes.
Didn't you hear me say that Ntim Forjo should be arrested? Didn't you hear other people call for Ntim Forjo's arrest? Because it is clear that he peddled falsehood, he peddled malice, he has injured the reputation of this country ignorantly and insensitively. The minority led by Apenyo Markin is supporting him in this industry.
Do you consider the surrounding of his home by supposed security operatives excessive?
I think that that arrest should have been done with precision. Ntim Forjo is not too big to be arrested within 5 minutes. So the officers who went to the house, I don't think that
they were excessive.
I don't think that. No. I don't think that they have done. They have followed through the procedure. There are people who say that Ntim Forjo is protected by parliamentary immunity. Albeit that comment. So you have to use Parliament to arrest him. Parliament is on recess. As Parliament is on recess, the man is running and still, muddying the waters. So if you are going to arrest him because he's made some other comments outside the floor of Parliament, even went to Paula Dumochiri and they seek to analyze how that
the flight manifest.
Ntim Forjo doesn't have the mandate. So those officers were even lenient in the first place, but they didn't do their work so well. Okay, if it was coordinated properly.
Do you still think he should be arrested?
He will be arrested.
Oh, you're saying on authority that he will be arrested?
There's no way that guy will not be arrested.
When will he be arrested?
Just wait. He will be arrested. He will have to answer for that malicious, uncouth, calculated attempt to peddle untruth against this country, to injure the reputation of the country for political reasons. And I think it's unacceptable that an individual like that go to Ministry of Education. And Tim Forjo was a deputy minister. Under them, they're currently this special prosecutor is investigating the fraud that was perpetrated under these guys, where individuals who are not teachers are taking money and being paid as teachers, and you can't find the secondary schools or the schools they teach. So this person comes to say that your country is a transit point for cocaine, and he thinks he can be shielded politically for not, being able to substantiate or collaborate with the state agencies. Look, he will be arrested. And if they had done their work well, the state agencies, those MPs who are gone there should have been ransacked and all arrested for trying to obstruct the work of justice.
I see.
Because what they are doing is to cover up, to shield persons who are dangerous to this country, persons who have the tendency to destroy the reputation of our country. And we should not politically sign for it.
Just a few more things and then we call it a day. Yeah. If I give you a scorecard, what will you score the administration 100 days in?
It's not about scoring. We've just taken from a corrupt, bad government.
How would you score your progress so far?
The progress of this country was killed by President Akufo-Addo.
No,
we are reviving it.
For the work you have done.
We are reviving it.
If I give
you
a scorecard,
it. If we hope,
what would you score yourself?
We hope to make every Ghanaian happy at the end of our 4-year term and for a renewal. We have just taken over from a corrupt regime.
So you can't score yourself right now?
That have killed the foundation of your country, and we are reviving that.
You've been saying that for a little bit, but I'm saying that you have done
some
work.
How do you measure what affects human life?
You have done some work. Yes. You have done some work. Yes. A lot of work in the last 100 days.
I'm a happy Ghanaian. I am a very happy Ghanaian that President Mahama is the president of Ghana.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
Oh, on a scale of 1 to 10, we are not perfect. So 90% score
90%
will be something I'll give President Mahama's leadership with his solid and bold progressive foundations he's laying.
Right.
Because we haven't met one, let alone to stand on one. If we stood on any foundation as far as President Akufo-Addo's legacies are concerned, then it was corruption.
Very well.
And we are fighting corruption. So no foundation was left.
Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
I'm extremely grateful.
Mustafa Bandi is Deputy Director of Operations at the Presidency. We've been looking at the first 100 days of the new administration as we count down to the end of the 120-day social contract. On that day, we will bring you an extensive coverage of how things have played out in the administration. In the meantime, I'll say goodbye to you. This is Hot Issues and I'm Keminni Amanor. Bye-bye.